Hey guys, so today we're going to be making a barrel for your games or anything. We'll start with making a cube for human reference. So and I'm going to go to the input modes, and I am going to in the channel editor. We're going to change the width to 60 by depth by 60 with a height of 180. For the size of our reference here. I'm going to then move it up 90 on the Y so that you can have it on top of the grid, right? And it's always nice to have everything on the grid. Next, I'm going to make myself a barrel, or a cylinder in our case. And I am going to put it up 40 on the Y because I already know the dimensions I need. So in the inputs again on the channel editor, we will give it a radius of 30, a height of 80, and a subdivision of how round it is, right, by 32, right? Okay. So from here, I am going to we are going to hit the Control-Shift-X, which is the multi-cut tool. So if I hold Control, it does a line. Second here, I'll also grab it from up here as well, right? The multi-cut tool. And then using the middle mouse button, you can put a line down the center, right? So then we can then come up here or hit W, right? Then go to edge mode, and we will double click this edge to select it and hit Control B, right? So for bevel, or you can also undo. So Control Z. I can come up here and hit bevel. It'll give me the same thing. Type in 10 segments at a fraction of 0.9, so it covers up most of the barrel. And then, oh shoot, I forgot to scale. So I Control Z till undid it, right? I'm going to bevel it again at 0.9 with 10 segments. There you go. Then faces. I'm going to come right click, go to faces, right? And then holding down the tab key, I can left click and drag, right, to select, right? So it's like a paint selection. And I'll do the same for the bottom. Control E to do the offset. Control also allows you to drag it slower. I'm going to just type in 3. And then I'm going to then up here, extrude again. This time do -1. I'll do a offset control. Make this -2. And then I'll do again 1. Then we'll in again, and that will be -1 this time. No, -2. Right, I'm just testing them out. There we go. All right, so from here, I'm going to go to vertex mode to show you guys this as well. I'm going to select the first vertex, then holding shift, I will select the second one, right? And then I will come up here, right? And then holding down the control key, I will then hit this button to select all the faces at once, right? So control and then clicking that. So from here, I can then hold shift and right click and do the detach or extract faces, right? I'm going to leave it as is. And we'll open this up and shift P to take them out of the weird group. We'll hit delete history as well to clear everything. I'm also going to grab both my lids and combine them into one object and delete the history. It's always good to have everything nice and clean. This is also why I'm going to extrude these out on 2 axes. You can also, so you can use these squares to extrude 2 axes at once, right? So like that. Or you can also use the control key as well as clicking one of these to scale 2 axes of the not of the that are opposite to the one that you're using. So I just wanted to make it a little bigger so that it controls like that. Perfect. All right, so now I'm going to hit that. 4 was for the wireframe. 6 brings me back to shaded. All right, so with this, I'm going to go edges, double click my first one to select it. Holding shift, I can shift double click the next one while continuing to hold down shift, right? I just left double click, and while holding shift, I can hold alt and drag to continue rotating. I can hold shift again, hold alt, and then we'll, oops, shift double click, alt, shift, alt and drag, shift double click, hold shift and double click, and then control B. I'm going to put it at 0.2, no, 0.1, board, 0.08 because I want it smaller. And then I'm going to go to Q, right click and go to face mode, shift. All right, select your first one, shift, hold down shift, and then double click on the second one while holding shift. And then we can go up to your selection, select similar. All right. In fact, I can also show us, in fact, I'll do that one more time, but this time we're going to go click this, control shift, and click the similar. So it adds it there. I'm going to then right click this, or left click, sorry, and use the save all shelves. That way it's there. And then I'll hold shift and I can then click that. Control E. We'll do -0.5. Object mode, control 1. Faces, right? Select this one face here. I'll do the same thing and select all similar, delete. There. So I can now select this guy and delete this history. So to make our other one, I'm going to grab another cylinder. This one I'm just going to scale using control. I'll zoom out on my wireframe. In fact, I'll hit Z. Alt dragon around, right? I'm going to then control scale this up. So it's just around where the barrel is. I'm not going to want to cover up this line right here, which is the center, so I can start here at least, right? Control 1 will isolate. It's also this up here. Isolation selection, right? So then I can go faces, select everything, control, and then double click that one, right? So control double click and delete. Next, I'm going to go to faces. I'm going to hit control E, grab some thickness to this guy, and I then can, while I'm here, go edges. And we will grab both the bottom and top. I'm going to hit bevel. And then I'm going to do 2 segments with a small fraction of 0.2. You can probably do point. I'm going to do 0.4 actually. Gives it a nice smoother look, and then we'll fix it with 3 when we do a render. If we are doing a render in Maya. Let's see. Then I'll grab these guys using the control on the single side. I'll slightly move them in. All right. Holding shift, I can clone upwards. Hit R, right? R. And then I can also hit control 1 so I can see it again. And then I'm going to do it one more time. We're going to control scale the one axis again. Roll. And then, last but least, I can now select these guys, Control G them to make a group. I'm going to hit W, then D, holding B down. I'm going to then move this up. What it's doing is turning on point snapping, right? And then D to turn it off. E, take a rotate tool. J, oops, Control B, and then J. Yeah. Shift E, delete those groups. All right, select these guys. Up here, you can find a way to rename things, right? So if you don't see it, it'll have this little bar with an arrow. You open this up, it'll probably be this by default. You can click on this little icon here, change it to the rename, which then allows you to then name these the ring barrel rings Geo01, right? And then I can then go barrel lid Geo, and then barrel Geo. Uh, Apparently, zero this back out. I don't remember doing that, but yeah. This is my barrel lids. Barrel underscore lids. But somewhere in the long runs where I separated it, I somehow hit the S key, which adds keyframes for if, when, and when you animate things. But that's hardly a matter. But we will want to freeze the transforms and then delete the histories. Right. This will allow you to delete things. And I'm going to also freeze the transforms. Right. So now everything is nice and clean. Now to get your material, you want to go to Windows. You want to go to Settings, Plugin Manager, those guys on, right? So search up your Substance Painter. That way you can get this nice and new Substance Painter shelf. You click on this. We go to Select Multiple. you go to desktop, or wherever you put it, go to your barrels, grab your stuff, you hit the select, and you hit apply. Right? Now, just because I've done that, it's made the material, but I need to go to assign existing AI standard 1, right? And, well, it won't appear at first because you're probably in 4 mode or 5 by default, which only gives you the default shader color. You need to hit 6 to get the texture if you haven't hit it. Now, we can also quickly grab these guys. I'm going to just go to UV editor. Start with the rings, UV shells, this, and I'm just going to literally, let's close half of this so that you guys, yours would probably look like this at beginning, right? So we'll go like this, unfold along V, so vertically, right? Bam. And I'll hit straighten as well. This might take a few minutes, depending on your computer. And then I'll hit R, scale these guys up. I'm going to go out. Why not? You take up as much space as I want. You need to have them in the 0 to 1 space if you're bringing them to Substance Painter. But for like large and giant props, you would use a trim sheet workflow like this. So these two guys here, I'll select them. We're going to stack these guys together. Shells. Scale. Now, you match the geometry so they kind of look decent there. And now all that's left is this. Oh, no, this. So, first things first, grab everything. Right click and go to UV shells, grab everything. Open up your Create tab, do a cylinder projection. I'm going to hit the F key to focus, the Q key to turn that off, Control 1 to isolate. Right? And what I'm going to do is go to Edges, select this. Make sure that it grabs everything. Double clicking, similar, right? And then we'll open up our cut section to cut these guys. Right click and to right click, and then we're going to go to the unfold along U so that they up. Oops. B. Okay. B. You want. If yours aren't blue, it might be because you don't have these guys on. It's just a simple left click. And then it's a matter of grabbing all these guys. And then you'll just come up to your close these guys because we're done there. I'm going to open up your transform and literally rotate it 90 degrees. And then you can place these onto your sections here, just like this. May have to. That's better, right? Nope. So I want to shrink it down some more. Right. So I'm just going back and forth, and then now I'm just going to have to place them. like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You could technically, let's just see here. If I go to arrange and layout, I could select all these guys. And we could also stack similar. And I'm just going to grab these guys. Here, there. Move these down here. You can literally just place these anywhere that you need. Oops. And then once you're happy with things, you can even break it up. Huh? It's not right there. Should be able to just hit unfold. Worst case scenario, I can also just hit the straighten. It's going to take a little. This should give you a nice looking barrel. With that, next we'll be looking at the crate. And you guys will be making a crate in a similar fashion as well.